Thomas Paine, Thomas Paine, Thomas Paine, Sam Adams, Sam Adams, Sam Adams, Benjamin Franklin, Benjamin Franklin, Benjamin Franklin. These men spoke up for what they thought was right. From their courage came such documents as the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of the United States. From their willingness to speak what was sometimes unpopular but right, we enjoy such liberties as freedom of speech, the right to keep and bear arms, and freedom of religion. There are those who still wish to oppress our freedoms, and there are still patriots willing to stand up and defend life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Men like Zeb Bell, who honor our founding fathers and what they stood for. It's now time for Zeb at the ranch, speaking up and defending your freedoms. Brought to you by Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers and all of the other great advertisers on the program. And now, Zeb Bell.
Former President Gerald Ford said these words: "Our values, our principles, and our determination to succeed as a free and democratic people will give us a torch to light the way, and we will survive and become the stronger, not only because of a patriotism that stands for love and country, but a patriotism that stands for love of people." How true. Here comes Kate Smith, and God Bless America, followed by a patriot with our Pledge of Allegiance. Good morning, good morning. Give us a call. And a good morning to you. Zeb at the Ranch, I'm Zeb Bell, and welcome to our program for this last programming day for the month of March, and brought to you by our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you, with a big spring tire sale going on right now. And don't forget, too, some of our great advertisers like Western Way Services, always at your disposal. Call them today, 734-6969. And without any other activity, good morning to our Pledge of Allegiance.
Good morning, Zeb. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Very well done, my friend, and I thank you for calling in. Hold on to your hat today, buddy. Thanks for your call.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, thank you. Oh, my goodness sakes. Yes, we got a lot of things to do, including the weather, and the weather brought to you right now by Lennox and Ramsey Heating and Electric, offering rebates on qualified Lennox home comfort systems, gas furnaces, air conditioners, heat pumps. You and your family will enjoy the comfort. Call 678-0459 and learn how Ramsey Heating and Electric and Lennox can save you money. Right now, here's the weather.
We are in a wind advisory for today that is going to be lasting at least through early Friday morning. Looks like rain showers all day today, plus winds out of the west, 20 to 30 miles an hour, high of 48. Tonight, those rain showers are going to convert to snow showers, so be careful if you're going to be out there on the roadways tonight, low of 32. Tomorrow, partly cloudy skies, high of 56, overnight low of 33 for Friday night. And for Saturday, looks like it's going to be nice, mostly sunny skies, high of 56. That is your weather for Zeb at the Ranch.
Whoa, I mean, batten down the hatches. Good morning, everybody. Thank you, Gina. I appreciate that. Let's sell some cattle. Merv May, come on in here for a moment, would you please?
All right. Hey, good set of steer calves there. Here to get $31, 31 going to
Oh, that's the chant of the world's best auctioneer, Merv May, at the Burley Livestock Sale Yard, 1100 Occidental Avenue in Burley. And sale time today will be 11 a.m. at the sale that works for you, the Burley Livestock Sale Yard. Number to call for cattle consignment information, 678-9411. Merv May, Cade Rogge, Lance Udy, all there with the crew working to help you. Here's some of the run going through the ring today. Cody Beck out of Golden Valley. Hello, Cody, bringing in a couple of semi-loads. Semi-load of Holstein heifers and a semi-load of Holstein butcher bulls. And Guy Montgomery over at Bridge. Hello, how's everything up there at Bridge? 45 head of calves coming in. Dave Morris at Park Valley bringing in 70 head of calves. And they're going to have butcher cows coming in from TLK, Acme Dairy, Oak Valley Dairy. Like I said, 11 a.m. starting time. And they'll also have a good trailer line run. So you be sure and get there at 11 o'clock this morning for the Burley Livestock Sale Yard at 1100 Occidental Avenue in Burley. Merv, sell those steers.
All right, hey, good set of steer calves there. Here, $30, 1.5, 30, 1.5, 32, 2.5, 3.5, 134, 4.5, 5.5, 5.5, 130, 550, 135, 5, selling $1.35. Zeb Bell gets bottom again.
No, I tell you what, I'll take it, Merv. I'll take it. We've got a lot of things cooking for today on a Thursday morning program, and we're going to be talking to the Chamber of Commerce later on this morning, Rita Ramsey, and we've got a fella at 10:30 this morning, and his name is Dr. Bob Thiel, and he has written about Barack Obama, he's written about Hillary Clinton, and just recently finished a book about Donald Trump, and I'm really anxious to get him on the air at 10:30 this morning. By the way, too, don't forget Ramsey Heating and Electric at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. Number to call, 678-0459. They're open 7:30 to 5, Monday through Friday. All your heating, all your cooling, all your electrical needs right there at Ramsey Heating and Electric. I'm chuckling a little bit because our weather forecast, it might make you want to turn the old thermo up a little bit. My golly, it sounds like we're going to get wind and cold, maybe even a little snow. Are you kidding me? Anyway, Ramsey Heating and Electric, and we'll be talking to Rita later on this morning. 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley, where they provide warm winters and cool summers. And while I have just a minute, I tell you what, I was so totally impressed yesterday. And I mean this when I'm saying this, with the guests that I had lined up in the topic about millennials. As you know, millennials do not have a warm spot in my heart. The ones that are liberals, the ones that are absolutely lazy, the ones that are absolutely looking with a tin cup, gimme, gimme, gimme. Wow. We should be very proud of some of the millennials that have grown up right here and really have their sights on the future and they're goal-oriented. I was so impressed with Jason Lee from Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More. So impressed with Thomas Peterson that has Denny's in both Burley and Twin Falls. And so impressed with Tanner Stanger making a career completely away from agriculture that he grew up in to get into the dental hygienic business. And these young men were so sharp, and I can't say enough about them. Not only are they friends of mine, but I'm proud to say that their parents really did a tremendous job. Don't forget, speaking of Denny's Restaurant at 611 Overland, North Overland in Burley, and 291 Pole Line Road in Twin Falls. Yeah, I always talk about breakfast. I admit, hold on, caller, I'll be right there. I always talk about breakfast because that's my favorite meal of the day, you know, whether it's the pancakes or whether it's omelets or whatever for breakfast. But don't forget that Denny's has delicious burgers. Oh, my goodness, bacon and cheese and avocado double burgers, single burgers. They're delicious. And just stop in today at 611 North Overland in Burley or 291 Pole Line in Twin Falls. Denny's Restaurant is America's Diner, and they're waiting to serve you. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Zeb. Hey, being 36 myself, you know, I guess I fit kind of in that millennial age bracket there. I was pretty impressed with the people that you had on the young men you had on your show yesterday. And I also feel that this southern Idaho, we are blessed with the ability to, excuse me, I got a sore throat, to have our younger generations, the millennials, if you will, in this area, are pretty well level-headed and hardworking for the most part. And we're blessed the fact that we're a farming community, we're a hardworking community, and we were raised by people who are hardworking. And that counts for a lot. And when they take away from the summer jobs to these kids in high school coming up, whether it be moving hand lanes or picking rock or working at McDonald's or what have you during the summer, when they take those jobs away, it doesn't just take away revenue from the kids themselves. It takes away work ethic.
Yep.
It takes away their future.
Absolutely.
Drops them from them a little at a time, in my opinion. And
Absolutely.
It makes them think that, well, there's just going to be something there automatically when I graduate from high school and go into college. Well, there's not. I chose not to go to college or any further education on my own part. I felt that was best. But you see, when people come in from other countries or other places and they take the pipe moving jobs or the rock picking jobs or picking dirt clods out of the potato fields or what have you, it's robbing from us in more than just one way, and that's my opinion for this morning.
Absolutely. Well stated. Well stated, Riley. Thank you very, very much. That young man, I appreciate his viewpoint. When I had those three gentlemen on the air yesterday, there's a bunch of things that came out of the conversation that really correlated and joined all three of them at the hip. 1, respect for family. 2, respect for a work ethic. And 3, goals for the future and not giving up. And 4, a real love for this country and what they can do to help make it a little bit better. And those 3 individuals I had on my program yesterday, I'm thinking about making up a poster with their pictures on it. And it's not just those 3. We have many in this area, many. But I'm thinking about making a poster with their pictures on it, and just absolutely every time I get some of these dipstick millennials that are absolute nothing but crybaby wannabes, like the guy I had on the air last week, I'm going to look up at that poster and say, we are blessed in this area and have pride in what I'm going to be very blunt and say better parenting here in the Magic Valley. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. By the way, I'll wait for your calls. Barry Equipment and Rental, sales, service, and parts. I'm trying a new cough drop this morning, and I got to be honest with you, I don't like it. Anyway, Barry Equipment and Rental with locations in South Lincoln, in Jerome, Addison Avenue West in Twin Falls, and 159 West Highway 30 in Burley. They have all the equipment to get the job done right. They've got, and by the way, I know we're going to have a couple of days of gnarly, nasty weather outside, but then the lawns, oh my goodness, are they growing. You want to mow like a pro, check out the Walker mowers. 0% interest for 48 months, and they've got them right there at Barry Equipment and Rental. And they've got the Bobcat excavators. They've got all the equipment rentals and retail equipment sales, and we're going to be talking to Juan about that later on this morning. Barry Equipment and Rental, Jerome, Twin Falls, and 159 West Highway 30 in Burley. Oh, come on, give me a jingle, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. If you want to laugh and chuckle, honestly, at a article that was in the Times News this morning, and it was written by, I guess, the guy that drives the clown car for the Democratic Party in Twin Falls, Bob Soika. There were some comments in there that I just say to Bob Soika, and I've never met the man, I would just say to him, take a little time, sit down, have an aspirin, and let it absorb into your system and relax, Bob, because I know you're a party cheerleader for the Democrats, but oh my goodness, some of the things you said in this editorial this morning, whoa, 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 I thought Rod Serling and the Twilight Zone were out in the outer atmosphere. I think you're right there with him. Anyway, caller, hold on. I'll be right there. Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation, 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley. And their main goal is to help you get back to being you. They're telling you in the springtime right now, when you go out to do all that work and everything, whether it's moving hay or cleaning up the yard, getting rid of the tree limbs, whatever, stretch those muscles out. And if you're having back problems and sore muscles, yep, you better give them a call. Come on in, 678-1191. Yes, they can help you get back to being you with the exercises, the hydrotherapy pool, all of this and more at Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation in Burley, 678-1191. Good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Zeb.
Hi there.
You know, for the past, 9 years, that scares me to death to think of this, I have been privileged to be president of the Burley Music Club. And I've watched at our students, many of them, play before a judge once a year who is not their teacher and receive comments on how they're doing, and the best of those play at an honors recital, along with the ones who are Burley Music Club scholarship winners the night after the festival. And I've been able to watch at that recital, and now the last couple of years sitting in on some of the piano festivals, our students progress and grow. And, you know, it really does create a work ethic, though I'd never thought about that much in the past, when these students have to learn and prepare and commit to a particular goal. And I have watched our young people in this area grow, and they are wonderful young people. And so I do think we need to be very, very pleased and blessed with the ones that we have.
You know, Linda, I don't know you as well as I should. I don't know about your past growing up or what your parental guidance was as far as working is concerned. I can tell you mine, and I'm very proud of it. I mean, my parents, we had chores to do. Now, those were not chores that you just looked at and said, oh, well, I don't want to do them today, or I just think I'll sit on the curb and I'll ask somebody else going by for some money so I can go to a movie. Those things had to be done. And they were done because my father and mother did not put up with any garbage as far as back talk or excuses. And that is, I'll be very honest with you, Linda, I think that's what's missing today is parental guidance. I'm so proud of the young people I had on my program yesterday because I know their parents. I know every one of their parents. And I'll tell you what, they were raised with a work ethic and an ethic to succeed.
Right. You know, we had the example of the work ethic to begin with, and then we were raised to follow that example. I was a music student, and I had some struggle because of my vision problems, but I still had to produce. And I had wonderful parents who guided me. If I was doing a good job and yet I had problems, they were right there to help.
Yep. Yep.
If I wasn't and I had problems, they were right there to tell me I needed to change.
You better believe it.
And quickly.
Yep.
And, you know, they were very precious people. And you just saw that so much among the young people. I also went to a Catholic school for all the years from grade 1 up and to a private kindergarten. And, boy, I'm telling you, they expected you to work and do the right job and do it well.
Absolutely.
You didn't get by with a lot.
Linda, thank you. I got to do a commercial break, but I'm so glad that you called with a different twist to what I was talking about, and I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
You're welcome, and thank you.
All right. Nice lady right there. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Don't forget Scott Gano Landscaping and Sprinkler Service. And with all the wind that we've had, and to be honest with you, it sounds like we're going to get a whole bunch more wind today. Did I hear old Johnson say up to 50 miles an hour today? If I lose my hat, would somebody please over in Paul pick it up and send it back to me? Scott General Landscaping and Sprinkler Service, 438-2485. And they can trim all your trees. Like your fruit trees need to be trimmed right now. And they put in sprinkler systems and repair sprinkler systems. Oh, they're busy. And they'd love to work for you. They do a great job. They work for us. Scott General Landscaping and Sprinkler Service, 438-2485. You give them a call today, please. And while I have just a moment, I also want to remind you about what's going on with our friends at Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. You know, there is nothing worse than not being able to hear. And one of the gripes I had for years, is that it was just kind of hard to hear certain people and everything. Well, I went over there and talked to Dr. Christine Pickup, and she helped me a bunch, and she can help you a bunch. So why don't you get a hold of her today? 312-0957, across from the Minidoka Hospital Emergency Room, Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. Sit down, take a hearing screening. Oh, it's not going to hurt you. It's kind of fun, really. I've said that before. And you're going to find out how you can hear better. Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids, 312-0957. All right, calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Give me a jingle on the landline. And I got to read some of this to you. Out of this editorial that was in the paper this morning by this Bob Soika, the chairman of the Twin Falls County Democratic Party. Holy cow, listen to some of this. And this is just, he had a 3-column op-ed in the paper this morning. And he was really running down the Republicans here in the state of Idaho and why they're in power, how they're in power, and how the Democrats are making a huge comeback. I've heard that before. He said, and I'm going to read this, takes about a minute. It's also no secret that a tsunami of buyer's remorse and backlash is washing across America in response to Trumpism and conservative overreach. Really? Come on, Bobby, where is that tsunami? Most people, like myself and others, are absolutely glad that we're going to see a cleanup campaign in government and with the stupidity of rules and regulations that had overreach that were stymieing our economy and killing our economy growth through Democratic leadership by Obama. And then he goes on to say, the corporatist alt-right, alt-fact, anti-middle class, anti-social security, anti-healthcare, anti-workplace safety, anti-clean air, anti-clean water, anti-public education, anti-voting rights agenda that has leapt onto America's political center stage is of unprecedented, unbridled recklessness. Bob, I think you let your pen run away from you there, buddy, when you wrote this. You better sit down and analyze really what you wrote and then compare it to reality. Bob Soika, chairman of the Twin Falls County Democratic Party. Love to have him on, but I doubt that he will. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Hey, how about old Jeff and the crew at Magic Valley Irrigation, 44 East, 500 South of Burley? Caller, I'll be there in a minute. Stand by. Number to call so they can help you with your irrigation needs, 678-3101 or 431-3101. I'm telling you, they've got the experts and the pros right there at Magic Valley Irrigation. Had a nice chat with Jeff the other day, and boy, they are at this time of the year busy, and they look forward to serving you. Don't forget, Magic Valley Irrigation, number to call, 678-3101, and make sure that you're all set for this spring and summer, thanks to Magic Valley Irrigation. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, sir.
Are you sure he wasn't writing about the last 8 years?
I sometimes wonder, and I know, and you know too, that they're trying to kind of buff up, if you will, the attitude and personality of the Democratic Party. But, like I said in the opening statement this morning, I sometimes read these things and I wonder who's driving the clown car. Really, this is ridiculous.
It is. And when you're getting defeated and getting beat, you fight with everything you've got. You don't fight fair, you fight to win.
Yeah.
And I got to hand it to the Democrats. They don't give up. They don't concede a loss. They come out fighting and they come out swinging, but one thing they need to do is look in the mirror, look at their policies, look at the last 8 years, and they can understand why they lost.
Yeah, and here's the thing. You touched on it. Look at your policy platform. Look where you're going away from American family values, religious values, constitutional values. And you know I'm right on this. They veered so far to the left, they ran off the cliff, and they're laying someplace 300 feet off the freeway.
They are. And they've lost their compass, and they're not sure how to get back to the freeway. So they're just using everything in their playbook that has worked against other politicians for the last 50, 75 years, but it doesn't work against Trump. Because nobody owns Trump.
Well, I'm really afraid, and I mean this when I say this. I'm afraid that the reason in this country is gone. Reason is gone. I mean, we have lost, thanks to a fractured Democratic Party. We have lost, and I'm going to be talking about this in a little bit, and I'll spring it on you right now. I would like to see the entire Democratic Party explode. I would like to see it just absolutely fragmentize into nothingness, and I'll tell you why. Maybe they, at that juncture, could rebuild the party into something that's very usable, viable, and important. And I'll also say this. Maybe that same fracturing, maybe that same rebuilding process needs to happen with the Republican Party also, with some of these that are fractured off thinking they're holier than thou. Quite frankly, I think both parties need a good stiff slap in the face, wake-up call, and then start realizing they work for us, we don't work for them.
Exactly. They need to look at the bottom of that paycheck, and they need to look at that amount of that paycheck and understand where in the heck it's coming from.
Amen.
I heard today on the news that the Republicans are talking, they won't be able to get any tax reform, not tax reform, a budget deal through to cut Planned Parenthood and more spending on on the military. And the Republicans shoot themselves in the foot on every dang corner. They lay out a platform for the Democrats to stand on to defeat them.
I agree. You know what it all boils down to, Doug? Honestly, and this is my opinion. I get criticized on this almost every week. I get a negativity check with the emails and calls and everything. People say, oh, you're too rough. People say, oh, well, you're too pugilistic in your attitude. But wait a minute. It's a get tough attitude. When you're going to have a party, and you're going to have something like Trump trying to clean up the swamp or drain the swamp of all the garbage and the trash, then you've got to stay one word, tough, and committed to your reasoning.
Exactly. If you're wishy-washy and give the opponent, well, we're going to come in for going to go to the post and going to split off the post so you can screen and in for a layup, they're going to defend it.
Yep, absolutely.
And the Republicans back there, and there's a lot of them that should put a D behind their name instead of an R, because, by God, that's the only way they think and they vote.
No, there's a lot of them. I'll go along with that statement somewhat, but there's also a lot of them that shouldn't be there.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly right. And I feel we should have term limits. They should have their pension should last for 6 months to a year after they're out. And then they got to make a real paycheck.
You know, I'm not going to argue with any one of those things, because over the years I have really hardened my heart about the term limits. I was absolutely against them years ago while I was on this program even. But boy, you have seen a change in the way I want my eggs made. I guarantee you I have gone to the point where, yes, I'm supporting term limits. And quite frankly, many of these people, I don't care if it's a D, an R, or an I, behind their little nameplate on their desk, get rid of them.
Exactly. And the American public can do a lot of that in about a year and a half.
Amen. Always appreciate your call, Doug.
When the primaries start coming up and get people to run against these Republicans that have been back there for 100 years, and get people to run against them and then put them in. New ideas are always better than the old ones.
But you got to follow up on it. You can't just sit there and say, well, we're going to do this and we're going to do that, and boy, this is going to be great for the American public, and then nobody carries the football.
Exactly. And you can name on one hand the number of senators and congressmen that have run and said that they were going to do something and actually went back there and tried to do it and got shunned by their own party.
Yes, and conversely, to use your words again, there are a lot of congressmen and senators that I would love to see right now running. Thank you, Doug.
Hey, remember, everybody, let's take care of our seniors.
All right,
take care
buddy.
of the senior centers. Donate if you can. Do what you can to help. If you're over 60 and you can't afford to donate, join.
That's it.
It's $10-12 a year.
All right. Got you covered. Appreciate it, Doug. Thank you. Hey, don't forget the Southern Idaho Women's Expo. It's coming up on April 13th at the Burley Best Western Inn, sponsored by the Mini-Cassia Chamber of Commerce, Idaho Central Credit Union, and Idaho Housing and Finance. And boy, oh boy, is this going to be quite an event. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people. And, of course, don't forget, tickets are $20 in advance over at the Chamber office, $30 at the door. Hey, and by the way, if you're a business that would like to have a booth space there, call 679-4793. Southern Idaho Women's Expo, April 13th at the Burley Best Western Inn. Another event that's coming up, and it's going to be coming up next week, you do not want to miss. If you're into the horse business, you'd better get on up to Salmon. You heard Fred Snook yesterday talking about the 45th Annual Salmon Select Horse and Mule Sale. This is all going to start next Wednesday, April 5th, and it's going to go through Saturday, April 8th, with a great big mule sale on Friday at 6 p.m., great big horse sale on Saturday at 1 p.m., and all kinds of different events during the day. Oh, my goodness, they're going to have the wolf howling contest. They're going to have barrel racing competition, backcountry horse packing clinics. They're going to have rope horse performance classes. This is really going to be something. 45th Annual Salmon Select Horse and Mule Sale, and it's going to be in Salmon, Idaho at the Lemhi County Fairgrounds. Don't miss it next week. There you go. Calls welcome. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. This next story enrages me. Absolutely enrages me. The Department of Education, the National Department of Education, and they have disavowed this. They say, oh, no, we haven't contributed any money to it. I saw one of the credits on the paper that said Department of Education is funding partially a program called Access Islam. You can't make this stuff up. And this Access Islam is unbelievable, teaching our students, your kids, my kids, everybody's kids, how to roll out a prayer rug, how to get down on bended knee and bow forward and pray to Islam, all the learning tenets of Islam, and the Department of Education is involved in this, funding it? Where in the world are some sane people that are standing up and saying, shut it down? No way. No way should this happen. It's just another step, another encroachment into America and Americans' lives of pushing and promoting Islam. And I just absolutely couldn't believe this when I saw this story on television yesterday, and then I did some follow-up on it. And a friend of mine that has been on this program, standby caller, I'll be right there, and he's written a book called Twilight in America, Martin Moyer, was on television last night talking about this, and I am going to have him on the program next week. We're going to be talking about this along with Kyle Olson from education.org, EAGeducation.org. And we're going to get to the bottom of this and find out how, why, and if this is going to be stopped. Caller, I'll be right there. I got to pay some bills real quick. I'll be right with you, I promise. Don't forget. our dear friends at Autumn Haven Assisted Living Center, 924 Christian Way in Rupert. Number to call, 436-3200. That number again, 436-3200. You know, it's the only locally owned and operated assisted living facility in the Mini-Cassia area, and they welcome you to come by. Visit the facility anytime, take a tour, check it out, and you'll find out it is the best place. And you know, they're so involved in the community, and they make sure that their residents are taken out to community events and different items like the 4th of July, etc. They're small compared to some, but they have a bigger heart than most. Autumn Haven Assisted Living Center, 924 Christian Way in Rupert, 436-3200. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Zeb. Well, number one, the federal government has no constitutional authority to be involved in education. Reagan was that was part of his campaign, was to abolish the Department of Education. Of course, that didn't happen. But, you know, we've had a leadership at the top that has been pro-Islam for the last 8 years. And so does it surprise you that that would be incorporated into our educational curriculum, that Islam, you could teach Islam in the schools, but you can't teach anything about Christianity or the founding fathers and their Christian beliefs? So this does not surprise me at all, and I was aware that this was going on, but it's all part of the breakdown of the cultures of this country. It's for us to be tolerant of all of these people. And, of course, the true followers of Islam, if they read the Quran, they're commanded to kill us if we don't convert.
Well, wait a minute. Stop right there. Wait, whoa. Let me have a word. Adrian, let me have a word with you. Number one, the left and the promoters of these programs, when someone cries foul ball like I am over this and you are over this, and we demand that it be stopped and we demand that it be shut down, automatically, and it's happening already this morning, automatically the Islamic forces come out and say, oh, you bigots and you hate mongers, oh, poor us. Well, I want it to be on record that I am proud in this case to be a bigot and a hate monger, because I'm going to do all I can, not only here, but nationwide with people that I know like Mr. Moyer and Kyle Olson and others, that I'm going to do all I can to make sure that the Department of Education and others shut this program down immediately.
Well, it's just sad. Our education system has been taken over by the leftists and the socialists and, well, in many cases, the communists as well. I mean, you got the United Nations. This is where a lot of this garbage is coming down. And the United Nations, of course, you know, has always been anti-American, pro-Soviet, and so forth. But, you know, it's really sad that our students today are not taught about the Constitution. They're taught, you know, about Islam. Yeah. They're taught about all these other things that didn't make this country great, and that these other philosophies are actually trying to destroy us one way or another.
I agree.
Internally, and if you can educate or give enough propaganda often enough to students, for example, like a survey that was taken, you know, students at a very conservative university voted for Bernie Sanders.
Yeah.
And they took a straw vote.
I got to do a weather forecast right here now, Adrian. I agree with you.
The danger we have of our youth that are going to be our future leaders when you and I are gone, it's really sad. So we need to stop this, and I appreciate your efforts.
All right, Adrian, I appreciate it, and you're spot on with your thinking this morning, and I'm going to continue to be the fly in the milk against these programs. Thank you very much. Got to get a weather forecast on here. Thank you, sir. All right, sir. And the weather brought to you by Riverview Urgent Care, 382 North Overland in Burley, Twin Falls Urgent Care, 2392 Addison Avenue East, Twin Falls, and Jerome Urgent Care, 133 West Avenue A in Jerome. Minor emergencies, major care. I mean, and don't forget, too, whether you got the flu, whether you cut your hand, whether you stepped on a nail, whatever, they've got in-house lab and x-ray, and they can serve you, like I said, minor emergency, major care 7 days a week. The urgent cares. Right now, here's the weather.
We are in a wind advisory for today that is going to be lasting at least through early Friday morning. Looks like rain showers all day today, plus winds out of the west, 20 to 30 miles an hour, high of 48. Tonight, those rain showers are going to convert to snow showers, so be careful if you're going to be out there on the roadways tonight, low of 32. Tomorrow, partly cloudy skies, high of 56, overnight low of 33 for Friday night. And for Saturday, looks like it's going to be nice, mostly sunny skies, high of 56. That is your weather for Zeb at the Ranch.
Thank you, Gina. Brought to you by the Urgent Cares, Kyle James and his excellent, excellent people. Riverview Urgent Care in Burley, Twin Falls Urgent Care, Twin Falls, and Jerome Urgent Care in Jerome. Minor emergencies, major care. More calls are welcome. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. By the way, Redder's Showcase. Man, they're having their March Madness. You better get in there. March Madness sale. Come on in. You'll save on appliances, furniture, Serta mattresses. They're all on sale. 12 months, same as cash. Can't beat that deal with the bat. You better stop in, too. Saturday, April 1st, they're going to have the annual shootout. $5,000 worth of prizes. You better get in and find out more about the shootout and sign up today. Redder's Showcase, 2611 Overland Avenue in Burley. You stop in and see them today. You know, I'm so incensed about Muslims and Islam and teaching the tenets of Islam and the wiggling underneath the door. Kind of like the camel with the nose under the tent. Little by little, more and more, push. It's got to stop right now. Do you realize that many of the nation's city mayors had a mayoral gathering yesterday, and they were talking about sanctuary cities, and there are at least 150 so-called sanctuary cities in America. Just absorb that number for a minute. 150 sanctuary cities. 150 anti-American cities. 150 despicable traitor mayors that put illegals, and the concept of illegals deserve more than the citizens, first in those cities. And I honestly feel that our founding fathers of this great country are just turning over or spiraling in their caskets right now because they absolutely couldn't believe what's happening. 150 sanctuary cities that are actually giving and providing more to illegal aliens. I'm going to call it like it is. I'm not politically correct, nor will I ever be. They're giving benefits and seclusion and hiding to many of those illegal aliens that are really bad guys and bad gals. You know, this mess that Trump inherited, I don't know if there's a broom and a dustpan big enough to clean this mess up. I don't know if there's enough common sense in this country, there certainly isn't with the Democratic Party, oh no, to sit back and analyze and say, you know what, we're headed on the road to ruin and hell if we don't stop this insanity. But 150 cities call themselves sanctuary cities. And you know, like for the person that was talked about yesterday, Massachusetts Representative Michelle Dubois. You know, this woman is despicable. She should be, this morning, brought up on charges for aiding and abetting criminals to evade the law in our country, and she should be stripped, I will use that word, she should be stripped of her possibility of remaining in office one more minute. She should be thrown out for warning illegal aliens about any possible advancement by the Immigration and Customs Enforcement. How dare she jeopardize our citizens? I said this yesterday before anybody else did, whether it was O'Reilly, Hannity, anybody. I said it first yesterday. This is absolutely insane that she's putting illegal aliens and their benefit ahead of American citizens. And I saw her on TV last night. What an absolutely despicable, little whiny, you could just see her attitude. Well, I don't care what you say. I'm going to do it my way. Nya, 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 nya. And she was dressed like, well, never mind. I won't even get into that. What a despicable woman. And should be replaced today. Thrown out of office. Representative Michelle Dubois. Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Don't forget Ramsey Heating and Electric and Lennox offering rebates on qualified Lennox home comfort systems. Yes, sirree, Bobby. They, for over 50 years, man, they've been working hard to serve you. 678-0459. Learn how Ramsey Heating and Electric and Lennox can save you money. Give them a call today. Give me a call right now, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. You know, old John McCain, I say old John McCain from Arizona, he kind of stepped in it a little bit yesterday, but you know what? This time, I agree with him. I do. I'm on John McCain's side for this. He was being interviewed about North Korea yesterday. And he said, hey, China, come on, step up to the plate and tell that crazy fat kid, Kim Jong-un, to get back in line. And when he said crazy fat kid, which is true about Kim Jong-un, the corpulent little mini-mind of North Korea, the North Koreans got all bent out of shape. Oh, they issued statements that said, Senator John McCain's statement about Kim Jong-un as a crazy fat kid, why, those statements are tantamount to starting a war. This corpulent little Nutrisystems reject that wants to kill us and bomb us into powder, those are his words, not mine, absolutely something really negative needs to come creeping into his life really soon, if you get my drift. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Give me a call. Oh, by the way, more of the pathetic PC. I couldn't believe this when I heard this yesterday. That, you know, the game Monopoly, it's got like the thimble and it's got like the wheelbarrow as symbols that you can use to go around the board and everything. Honestly, some people on the politically correct left, they looked at the thimble and the wheelbarrow as symbols of work. And they found that to be offensive. And so I know the thimble's gone. I know the thimble's going to be off the board in the new games. And I've heard rumors that also the wheelbarrow is history. And the left coming out and making a little bit of a statement with some of these fruitcake snowballs that because they're symbols of work, they should be taken off there. Caller, good morning. I've got a minute. Quickly, go.
You betcha, Zeb. I'd just like to ask one question. Why in the world are we standing and letting these people, these mayors and these city councils and governors get away with this BS? I have no problem with somebody coming into the country legally. We're all, we are a country of immigrants. And to allow the Muslim community to infiltrate our beliefs and our country is just asinine.
What would you feel?
Family in Twin Falls. We have a Muslim community in Twin Falls, and a young girl. It's been advertised. It's been on the news. This young girl's family has been tormented by these Muslim thugs, and the city of Twin Falls just brushes it under the carpet. Why? Why are we allowing our little communities in Idaho? Why are we allowing these people to bring these thugs in here? I don't understand it.
The federal government has designated us as a refugee area. You know something? I wish that you'd have called a few minutes earlier, because I'm flat out of time, and you've raised my ire, and I think both of us can get mad together, but I ran out of time. Please call me back at another time when I have some time, and we'll visit about it, because, boy, you're on a subject I love to talk about.
I will, my dear friend. Have a great day.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Oh, my goodness, yeah. You're not going to find that I'm sympathetic at all to the refugees coming into this country. No, I'm sorry. No, I'm not sorry. Why did I say that? I am going to tell you about a big spring tire sale, and that's going on at your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, where doing the right thing always matters. They have got all the different tires for your vehicle, and many, many, many are on sale right now. And like the Mastercraft LTR STR tire for your pickups and SUVs, all-season performance, mud and snow designation. Yeah, buddy, I'm telling you, get you down the highway. Well, you check out all the great tire buys at your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers right now for the big spring tire sale. Check out the best in brake service, front-end alignment, shocks and struts, batteries. Above all, service with the best of people. Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family in Paul, Daniel on Poline in Twin Falls, and my buddy Randy on Overland in Burley, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Got to run to the news. Wheels, take it away. I'll be back in 7. Oh, my. It's really not that bad outside right now. It's very pleasant, and we've been hearing forecasts that, oh, my goodness, look out, tie yourselves down. The wind's going to blow you away. Hasn't got here yet. Hope it doesn't. Zeb Bell, Zeb at the Ranch, with our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. All 7 locations serving you with a big spring tire sale going on right now. And then also some of our great advertisers like Western Waste Services.
From the canyons of the Snake River and all across southern Idaho, we're always at your disposal. Western Waste Services, we care about our community, our resources, and this great land. Western Waste Services is lending a hand, always at your disposal. Western Waste Services.
You know that Western Waste Services has the porta potties, and if you're going to have a party, you got to have a potty. A lot of people go, oh, can he say that on the radio? Absolutely. If you're going to have a wedding, a class, or family reunion, special birthday party, outdoor concerts, you got to have a potty for your party. Well, you might need more than one, too. Well, they've got a bunch ready for you at Western Waste Services. Always at your disposal. Call them for a potty for your party. 734-6969. Western Waste Services. Oh, my goodness sakes, we got a lot of things cooking. We're going to have the Chamber of Commerce on here in just a moment. Don't forget to Ark Animal Hospital. Hello, Dr. Bill. Hello, Dr. Liz. Hello, everybody over at Ark Animal Hospital, 750 21st Street in Hayburn. Number to call, 678-1177. Oh, they have the warm hearts for the cold noses. Ruby, they love you. Anyway, don't forget it's a mixed animal practice, meaning big or small, they love them all and can take care of them. Your animals need to be taken care of. They need to be healthy. So get a hold of them today. 678-1177. Ark Animal Hospital in Hayburn. Give them a call now. Oh, and let's see. We're going to be going to the Chamber of Commerce here just a moment because I know that they're going to tell us all about that great big women's seminar. And I think without further ado, we're going to do that right now. Hello. Oh, I'm a little scared of this. I always pick the wrong name. It's either going to be Kyla or maybe it's going to be a handoff to Jackie. I'm just going to say good morning, Chamber of Commerce.
Good morning, Zev. This is Kyla. How are you this morning?
Okay, I'm good. Now I know it's you.
It's me. It's me. I know you got to talk with Chris last week, though, and I'm glad.
Yes, I did.
So excited to have her aboard the Chamber.
And she did very well.
Good,
okay.
Good.
All right.
I had no doubt. She's got a radio background, so...
Well, now, let me ask you this. You're getting closer and closer, inch by inch, step by step, foot by foot, to the Southern Idaho Women's Expo. What do you want to share with us this morning?
Oh, my goodness. Well, we are just getting so excited. We're going to have at least 50 booths there, and that's going to be very exciting. All kinds of folks from all over the Magic Valley will have their wares or their services on display. They want to talk with folks. And then we have some really exciting entertainment and guests who will be speaking, and it's just going to be a fun time. This year's theme is, Oh, the Places You'll Go, and that could mean travel. That could mean personally in your life. That can also mean in your career. Where do you want to go? And so we've got all sorts of fun things planned for those that attend. Tickets are on sale now, and we've got a great deal. If you'll call the Chamber, you can get your tickets for $10 off. So they're $20 per person, and that does include a really nice lunch that will be provided by the Best Western Burley Inn in Perkins. And so we're just excited. It's not that far away. I just can't believe that March is almost over. I think that's where everybody's mind is right now.
I know it. Hey, by the way, where is the number one memory spot that you have gone to? I've got my favorite. Where have you been in the world that you'll never forget and you want to go back?
Oh, my goodness, New Zealand. I'd say that in a heartbeat. New Zealand.
You know,
it's a beautiful country. It really is.
And I would say southern Spain. I was right down on the absolute bottom of the country and stayed there on the southern tip for about 2 weeks, and I love Spain. I want to go back really bad.
Yes, especially when the weather is nice out.
Yes,
I bet.
yes.
I bet it's just beautiful. But all sorts of places. I've been really fortunate. I've had, a chance to travel to many countries, and New Zealand was just a lot of fun. And it's, this island, but it was just fun. Just a really fun place. Very kind people.
Now, here you are as the director of the Mini-Cassia Chamber of Commerce, and you've got this great big Southern Idaho Women's Expo coming in. You've got great speakers. You're going to have a lot of great businesses there representing their business at the various booths and everything. Holy cow. Any last-minute words of encouragement or anything else you want to tell us about it?
Well, sure, yes. Obviously, call us at 679-4793 for tickets. Or any information that you'd like about the Women's Expo. I guess the biggest thing that people are realizing is that this, we've talked about this before, I think, but 70 to 80% of purchases are made by women, or they are the person that gave the go, meaning that's why the thing's getting purchased in the first place.
Uh-huh.
And I know a lot of retailers, a lot of places with different services realize that. And this is a unique opportunity to really market your product, not just to women. Men come to this too, but primarily women, and see what makes them tick and see what they are interested in. And for all businesses, you need to find this information out. So we are just really excited. And we're excited that Idaho Supreme Court Justice Robin Brody, who's from our neck of the woods, will be our keynote speaker at lunchtime. We're going to have some advice from some local doctors at Cassia Regional Hospital. And then we'll also have a comedian at the end who has performed for lots of businesses' Christmas parties around here. So we are very excited to have Susan Rice with us.
Let me ask you this. The doors open at 9 o'clock on the 13th, and wow, I mean, I've heard good things about, you mentioned hundreds of people are going to be there. I'm wondering if maybe that shouldn't be extended to thousands. It sounds like it's going to be a great turnout.
You know, I would love to see it extended to thousands. I don't know if everybody else would be, but we just encourage everyone to come out. You know, the nice thing about it is we have breaks in between the speakers, so there's lots of time to get around to all the booths. We actually have a contest that's going on, so if you do make it around to all the booths, then you're entered in a chance to win an overnight stay at Cactus Pete's and some other great prizes. And so just by attending, making your way around, checking out, there's lots of new products, which I'm very excited for folks to look at. Lots of services. We have quite a few new vendors who are going to be there this year, so it's just going to be a great day, great time. If you've got folks in your office that you feel, you know, it's also Office Administrators Week. I think it used to be called Secretaries Week that same week. This is a great thing to give to all the folks in your office and say, get on over there and go check things out.
You know, and that was one of my questions. You just stole some of my thunder this morning. I was going to say, this is a day on the 13th where every employer better be nice and kind to the ladies that want to go to this. It would behoove them to let them go.
Yeah, so we have quite a few businesses that they buy the tickets for their folks in their office and send them on their way. So this is kind of a fun idea for those of you that are wondering what to do for Office Administration Week, or I'm not sure what the nice title is you put with this now. I don't know what happened to, what's wrong with being a secretary? I don't understand.
God bless you. Somebody that...
that's what they went ahead and changed it to. We just really encourage people to come on out and have a great time. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Absolutely. Thank you for not being politically correct. I don't like that on my program. Hey, by the way, what other issues? I know we're running a little long here this morning, but we need to also say, yeah, we're talking about the Southern Idaho Women's Expo, but there are some other issues, too, coming up, aren't there?
Let's see, in terms of activities and whatnot, I would say this. The easiest thing to do is get on our chamber website, which is minnecasia.chamber.com, and go directly to the event calendar. The month of April has stuff almost on every day. And so rather than take up the rest of the time, we'll do it week by week when I get on the show. Just get on there right now. There's classes. There's all sorts of things, all sorts of concerts coming up. The spring concert for the Magic Philharmonic Orchestra. Just get on the event calendar, because I'm not kidding you. If you get on there right now, I think there's like 4 days maybe that don't have something on there.
Wow. All right, Kyle, I appreciate that. You've done a very good job again this morning, and we'll look forward to next Thursday. You have a wonderful, wonderful week.
Okay, thanks, Zeb, so much for having me.
All right, Minnecasia Chamber of Commerce and the executive director over there. Kyla, I appreciate everything she does, and be sure and call them about more information, 679-4793. Oh, my, we got a lot of bills to pay here. I want to say thank you for being so nice and so community-oriented, and I'm saying that thank you to Joel Heward, his family, and his staff at Hanson Mortuary, 710 6th Street in Rupert. And the number to call, remember this number, it's very important, 436-5636. You know, they can help you with all the arrangements when there's the passing of a loved one. Absolutely. And always with the highest ethical standards, with unquestioned integrity. Ladies and gentlemen, dying is a part of life. And they at Hanson Mortuary can help ease your family through the process and take care of everything for you. Please remember the number, 436-5636, Hanson Mortuary at 710 6th Street in Rupert. And remember that number and call them for pre-planning on the funerals today. Joel Heward, Hanson Mortuary. Oh, my goodness, and then also, oh, my goodness sakes, do you know who's having a great big sale? I mean, this is a very neat sale over at Mad River Laser, 502 East Street in Rupert, and it's going to go through tomorrow. The entire gift shop is on sale. I ran into somebody the other day, And they said, well, they needed this, they needed some caps and some jackets and other things made up for business promotion. I say, hey, there is one place that is absolutely fantabulous, and that is Mad River Laser. Nicole, the whole crew, and like I said, they're going through a great big sale right now for the spring open house, and they're having door prizes, and they want you to ask them about their free engraving and their free embroidery. This is a great business right there on the square in Rupert, Mad River Laser. 502 East Street in Rupert. You stop in and see those good folks today. Don't put it off today. Oh, let's see what else have I... You know, there was a story in the paper this morning that if you look up the word stupid, the meaning of the word stupid would be this story. I have said for a long time that renewable energy is absolutely not cost effective. It is not smart, whether it's wind or solar. Let me read you some excerpts of this story that is happening here in Idaho. Federal regulations require Idaho Power Company to purchase all the power generated from its most, listen to this word, expensive resource, wind and solar. Idaho Power doesn't own its own wind and solar facilities, but must, keyword, buy the power from commercial projects. Oh, and listen to this. The higher cost of wind and solar is passed down to Idaho Power customers through a rate-setting process. So, with all the water that we have going through the rivers this year and extreme amounts of generating for power, you and I can throw our chests out and be proud that we're paying way more than we have to because of the idiocy of federal regulations have Idaho Power purchase the ridiculous power from wind and solar. Doesn't that make you feel warm and fuzzy, bunky? It just drives me nuts. Every time I see one of those cancers on the landscape, those solar, or I should say those wind turbines, and yes, even the solar panels, it just irritates me to think that we, you and I, those that pay our bills, are paying excess and much more than necessary for a frivolously stupid program. Oh, I feel better now. Calls welcome. 436. I'm sure somebody's out there going to call and agree with me. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Hey, Zeb, you're talking about them daggum money sponging red light blinking pains in the hind end. Tell you, it's another way of just taking more money out of our pocket to get it into the federal government. It's been proven they are not worth having up. Now, I can understand somebody putting it on their own private property, financing it themselves, whatever. That's fine. But it's been proven they don't even produce enough electricity to pay for themselves before they fall apart.
Yeah.
And so if they and I don't I don't believe in the federal government being able to tell any private person or any such thing of how to spend your money, and you have to buy this. But it happened with health care, and this is going through.
Yep.
It's one way to take money away from the people who are hardworking and take it for themselves.
Absolutely.
I wish we could do something about it. I don't know how, but...
Well, we're gonna keep leading the charge against this idiocy on this program. Riley, I appreciate your call. Again, a very good point. I appreciate it. Thank you. Caller number 2, go ahead. You're on the air, please.
Yes. Have you driven to Boise lately?
Oh, my goodness. Don't even. Why did you have to go and create more madness in my voice and in my mind when I was thinking about those literally hundreds of thousands of solar panels? And so I got to ask you a question because you're a smart guy, okay? I'm going to trust you, the guru of smart, this morning, okay?
Boy, you're in trouble.
I know I am, but I'm going to take a chance. Those solar panels happen to be right on the glide path for all the airliners that are going into the Boise airport, are they not?
That and for Mountain Home.
Yeah. Okay, that being said, yours truly, not a pilot, not any kind of an aeronautical engineer whatsoever, but I do read, and I have read stories where they are having great concerns about solar panels causing problems with the plane's communication system, etc. Why in the world did they grant that location for those solar panels?
It's called the buddy system.
Oh, okay.
That's my take on it, and if anybody can prove me wrong, please do. But one of their buddies owned that property, and, hey, we'll put a solar panel deal here. We'll pay you 10 times what that property's worth.
But I want to go back up a little bit, though, Doug. If you think I'm wrong on my reservations and my concerns, let me know.
Well, you go outside, and you say you take a mirror, a 4x4 mirror.
Yep.
And you shine it, say, a mile away.
Yeah.
On something. You can see that light hit it. Say you've got a building a mile away and you shine that mirror, you can see that light hit that building. Okay, you take those solar panels, they're basically a giant mirror, and the sun hits it. When it reflects back up, hell, those solar panels, I'm guessing, are probably 6 feet by 10 feet.
I think that's a pretty close synopsis of the size and everything, but my biggest fear is...
Dozens of them.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to be a fear-monger on this case, but way before they finished that field of dreams up there, if you want to call it that, I questioned the sanity on this because I had read other articles about where down in California, near the Mojave Desert and other places, there were great concerns about this, but why? Right on the glide path going into Boise Airport, I'm sitting here. Unless somebody knows a whole heck of a lot more about it than I do, I guess I've got a right to raise the concern until they prove me wrong.
Right, and there's also one over in Vail, Oregon.
Yeah.
Just outside of Vail, Oregon.
Yeah.
And you come in from the west, going to Boise, that's where they come in, right over Nampa, Caldwell, that way.
And what an incredulous waste of money, effort, and common sense.
And I bet every one of those panels were made in the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
Being sarcastic.
I know you are. That's why I was...
The products that was used to build that was made in some foreign country.
Yeah, but real quick, I've only got a minute. Give me a short answer on this. Don't ramble. What did you think about that story in the paper this morning that said the higher cost of wind and solar is passed down to Idaho Power customers through a rate-setting process? We have an overabundance of power, but yet we're going to pay like there isn't.
That's how you bring down, you deplete the pocketbooks and the bank accounts of the hardworking people. That's how you bring them to their knees.
Absolutely. Doug, God bless you, man. Thanks. All right. Caller, quickly, I got a minute left in this segment. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's me again. I was just going to say, talking about the solar panel farm, there's one at Seagull Bay. You turn and head on the Indian Reservation, and there is probably a good mile section right through there that they're converting over to it.
Yeah. And to me, it's a frivolous waste of money, time, and possible danger. Thank you very much, Riley. Appreciate that.
And farmland in boot.
Amen. Amen. Thank you. Hey, don't forget our friends at Let's Ride, 270 Highway 24, between Rupert and the entire world. They're open Monday through Friday, 9 to 6, Saturdays, 9 to 4. And have you got a four-wheeler? You don't? Well, then they've got a showroom full of them. ATVs, side-by-sides, dirt bikes. Oh, my goodness, you open the door and you just stand there and go, holy buckets, where did they get all these machines? Oh, my goodness, they got a couple waiting for you right now. And if you do have one and you need to get it serviced before you hit the hills and the trails, well, they've got a service department that can take care of you. Let's Ride, 270 Highway 24, between Rupert and the world, open Monday through Friday, 9 to 6, Saturdays, 9 to 4. It's true. This is where the fun is sold. Oh, my goodness sakes. Let's see what else have I got cooking here real quick. Don't forget Cache County School Days coming up next hour, and lovely lady Debbie Critchfield is going to be our guest on that program this morning, so stay tuned for that. Also, I want to remind you, too, about Cameron and Siemens Insurance. Oh, yes. Very, very, very dedicated and accessible and devoted to serving you for all your life insurance, health insurance, retirement planning, employee benefits, all of this and so much more. All you have to do is call and make an appointment at 436-4424. That number again, 436-4424. Cameron and Siemens Insurance, Highway 24 in Rupert. Let me make sure I got everything taken care of here. I've got that to do next hour. I can do that next hour. And coming up in just a couple of minutes, of course, will be Rita Ramsey for our weekly kind of look at the news, if you will. And I'm anxious to ask her about quite a few of the different things that have hit the news in the last couple of days. By the way, I also want to mention that Easter is right around the corner. Easter is right around the corner, and some businesses that want you to have a very happy family Easter. The Book Plaza at 222 West 11th Street in Burley. Oh, my goodness, they've got all your Easter needs, all the precious moments, figurines, all the books, all the home decor items, everything, candle sets, teaching aids. They've got it all for you, and it's also the home of the National Pioneer Hall of Fame. The Book Plaza at 222 West 11th Street in Burley. Along with, I love this business, the Goody Shop. 133 West Main Street in Burley. Number to call, 647-0106. And they can make up your Easter baskets, or, they'll follow your direction, whatever you want in it. You can have all kinds of things in there. And they can do a man's basket that includes jerky and fruit and peanuts and brownies and everything, and kids' baskets. Oh, it's fantastic what they can do at the Goody Shop. 133 West Main in Burley. And you want a great place to go eat? Well, let me tell you what it is. Perkins Restaurant, 800 North Overland in Burley. You know what? They've got strawberry pie. I love strawberry pie at Perkins in Burley. And they've got great bakery items, fruit and cream pies and cookies and muffins. And you can have Easter dinner there, too, at Perkins Restaurant, 800 North Overland in Burley. All of those folks wishing you and your family a very happy Easter. Well, good morning, Rita Ramsey. How are you?
Good morning. I'm real good. Thank you.
Where do I start, my dear?
Pick a card, any card.
Okay, I've got 52 of them in my hand. And first of all, I want to ask you something. I know during the day you're really tied up over there at Ramsey Heating and Electric. But have you, at any chance in the last couple of days, had an opportunity to watch some of the White House press conferences with Sean Spicer? This guy, I've developed a real like of this guy to the point where I think he's tough. I think he is hard-nosed, and I think he's telling some of these ditzy, dumb reporters that can't understand the answering of a question, sit down, shut up, or go back to your office. I like Sean Spicer.
Well, somebody needs to take control of that. It's true that it was totally out of control the last several years, because if you think about who the press secretaries were for the Obama administration, it just got to be a regular circus. And the other thing is, there wasn't really any news or any questions asked, because they wouldn't accept anything that they hadn't already approved and found answers for, so that they didn't have to answer hard questions. So I think that it's good that he's getting it under control, and I think he's saying, hey, this is my thing. You're going to do what you need to do, or just don't participate.
There was a woman on the press conference the other day, a black woman reporter, and honestly, I am not picking at her just because of her race or anything else. I am picking at her because, honestly, Rita, she was dumb. She asked the same question and tried to ask it more than 3 or 4 times. And Spicer had answered specifically and used very specific language, and she couldn't grasp it. When is enough enough? And finally he called on somebody else. But after doing that, Hillary Clinton and others, Hillary, got involved and were asking for Sean Spicer's head on a platter.
Well, and not only that, they decided, okay, you're truly a racist and a sexist, and started using all the words that they can think of to see if they can't have him smeared. It's just ridiculous, but somebody has to take control of it, and I think that he handled it in quite a way that showed, hey, you better do what you need to do, ask the questions, and then take them instead of turning this into a circus. It's not going to be a circus.
That's exactly right. You know, in the course of this week, there have been a lot of things that have gone on in the Trump administration. I'm going to say good things. One of the good things, and I love seeing the crying and wailing and the tearing of their hair and the gnashing of their teeth of the environmentalists. Oh, Trump rolled back a lot of the EPA rules and regulations. The sky is falling and Chicken Little is dead. My goodness, Rita, how are they ever going to survive?
Well, finally, we've got a little bit of common sense and sanity that's happening, and hopefully it will continue on. I read a story where the Navajos over in Arizona are super, super grateful that they're starting to roll some of these back because... And this one report, it says that on the reservation, because of the rules and regulations and stuff, is going to cause more unemployment, which the Obama administration, executed against, like the coal industry and that type of thing. And they already had a 42% unemployment, and there was something like 45% of the people on the reservation are under the poverty level. And so these Navajos, had a press conference and say, hey, we support this. We want these jobs to come back. We need to have the coal mines up and going. And so, there aren't just coal mines in the east. We've got a bunch of them in Utah. Clinton made a bunch of those places down in Price, Utah, where they had coal and stuff. He took those into federal lands and that type of thing, and they're just doing it one thing after the other, and all they're trying to do is damage America and make us destitute. They're not trying to further America and make it great or anything else. They're just trying to get control.
The EPA, and I had many, many, many stories on my program over the last 8 years when Obama was holding on to the reins. The EPA was comprised of a bunch of thugs and a bunch of punks and a bunch of crooks. And they operated the EPA as such. And they were out scaring people into submission, threatening them. And now I think we're going to see a new sheriff in town with Pruitt, and I say God bless him, and I'm so glad to see these rollbacks. And I am also glad to see people like Tom Stiers and these environmentalists on their knees wondering what's going to happen next.
Well, they need to be, because contrary to popular belief, we, the people, are the ones who should be in charge of all of this, not the federal government. And the federal government starts saying, you can do this and you can't do that and everything else. And that's totally opposite of what the Constitution was for. And actually, yesterday I downloaded the president's new budget, and it went through and showed a number of different agencies and how much was being cut off of their budgets, and the EPA had a pretty good slice off of theirs, and regulation, besides funding, regulation was one of the big things in that budget, is saying, hey, we've got to cut back regulation so businesses can do business, and we want to cut regulation keeping in mind that we're trying to protect the environment and everything, but these rules and stuff that have happened over the last several years and the last administration have just gone too far.
Rita, I just finished a few moments ago talking about something that it irritated me so bad this morning. I threw the paper up against the wall, and then I had to go gather up all the sections and cut this story out. But I'm sure you saw it, that with the overabundance of water and power generation that we have this year, you and I are still going to pay exorbitant rates because federal regulations require Idaho Power to purchase all the power generated from its most expensive resource, wind and solar. This is asinine.
Well, it is, and we have paid for those. A report showed, and I had commented on this a few years back, that those windmills cost in the neighborhood of $1 million apiece.
Or more.
They are all funded by the federal government. There is no way on God's green earth that they will ever generate enough electricity to pay for themselves. And then the downside of it is that Idaho Power does have to purchase the electricity from whoever are the generators, and they don't have to just pay them Idaho Power's rates. They have to pay them the rates that they sell this power down in California and places, which is at least double what Idaho Power charges for electricity now. Therefore, that makes all of the rates go up because they have to have a way to subsidize and pay for those windmill purchases of power that they have to take from them. It's just a big scam. You also mentioned the solar panels and everything else. The whole government thing is just a big, we'll choose who we want to be in business and who we want to put out of business, and that is not the way that the founders set up our government. The federal government should have nothing to do with any of that. If the states decide they want to do it and the voters say, do this, then it should be okay for the states to do it because they got votes from their citizens, but not the federal government.
Amen. On another subject, that when I heard of this story, I got to tell you something, Rita. I was so frustrated, both my wife and I. We sat down in a chair and we were just fuming mad that the Department of Education, and they will disavow this, but I saw one of the credits on one of their websites. The Department of Education has been funding a program in certain schools called Access Islam. It's unbelievable. Teaching students how to roll out a prayer rug, how to pray to the Islamic religion, and teaching the tenets of Islam in our schools. And I say, and I'm very blunt about this, shut that down and no more money. This is ridiculous.
Well, if they want to do that, fair is fair. Then the church that I belong to should be able to have a website for people to access and make it really, really accessible in the schools so that they can do this and that and the other, or maybe read a few lines out of the good books and that type of thing. And the church that the next guy belongs to, everybody should do it. And if you're going to do it, it needs to be across the board. But that's not the way that they do things. They exempt everybody except those of the Muslim faith. And it's because they're afraid that the Muslim faith will cause harm to them.
Yeah.
That's a peaceful religion, I thought.
Uh-huh. Yeah, and I can walk without crutches, too. Anyhow, that is just so irritating to me to think that we every day we're being told that we have to accept their tenets and their beliefs. We have to accept, these poor people coming in here as refugees. And, they might build a mosque. They might advocate for Sharia law. They might advocate that we have the access of Islam in the classroom. Why are we allowing this encroachment? I don't understand.
Oh, I do. I understand.
I do, but you know as well as I do. But I'm frustrated, and I want my audience to understand.
And the big problem is that people won't stand up and say no. And a typical example of it is just like that. You had mentioned this in the last hour about the little girl down in Twin Falls that was sexually assaulted by those 3 youth, and how it was tried to be covered up and everything else. I got a thing last week that they were having another pretrial hearing on that. And there's a couple of things that I'd like to read out of some of these reports. It said, what could never have been anticipated, however, is the way the family and its supporters have been held up to public ridicule by powerful refugee supporters in Idaho and nationwide. City councilman, county prosecutor, chief of police, and even a retired state Supreme Court justice have all taken turns trashing conservative media that reported on the assault, as well as those who have come to aid the family. Idaho retired Chief Justice Jim Jones came to Twin Falls Rotary meeting in January, and he chastised the people opposing the College of Southern Idaho, which has been resettling refugees in the area for more than a decade. He said, we have to have empathy for the refugees, and he accused WND and Breitbart News of pushing a false narrative that whipped up public hysteria about the sexual assault without giving any specifics of what was false. He trashed and browbeat everyone who challenged that refugee center for having a negative effect on Twin Falls business in Twin Falls. He said, I don't care, or the person writing this said, I don't care if he is a Supreme Court justice. What the heck does he know about this case? And he didn't know anything about this case. But what happens is you've got leaders, elected leaders, who will come in and totally change the narrative, and that's what some of the newspapers and the news media will pick up and pass that word along, and they've been doing it for 50 years now, and we believe it. The thing of it is there aren't enough people who know the alternative from the mainstream media, which are programs like yours and the talk radio programs and Fox News and some of those others, and places where they can pick up and get information so they can get the truth. These places will just spread it, and they'll spread it thick, and people think that's the real thing. It's amazing how when you talk to people, it's, oh, yeah, I saw that on MSNBC, or I saw that on CNN, or whatever, and it's kind of like, yeah, you didn't get the story, did you? You just got somebody's opinion, and they pushed it as news. And that's the problem, is people do not know the details. They don't go and look for them. And when there is a little bit of pushback, they kind of go, oh, okay, yeah, I'll shut up. And the other voice is way louder, and then there is not justice provided for people who are victims.
You know, that story that you were referring to about former State Attorney General and Idaho Supreme Court Chief Justice Jim Jones, they alluded that, oh, yeah, now that he is retired, we can expect to hear more from him. And I say bring it on. I've known Jim for a long, long time, and if he wants to criticize those of us that are very concerned about our environment, our communities, etc., because I am not in favor of the refugee center. I am not in favor of anything to do with allowing people that are unvetted coming into this country, and we've created massive problems. Look at Minnesota, look at other states. I don't want it here, so if he wants to criticize me, he's welcome to call into this program any time.
Well, and the other thing is we don't know all the ramifications of these yet here. It hasn't been broadcast widely enough, but these refugees, they come in and they make up their own little community, and they say, you know, we're going to go by our laws. We're not going to go by the Constitution because our religion doesn't permit it. And so then what they do, and this is typical with all of them, and it doesn't matter whether it's in America or other places, then they wage lawsuit jihad. And what they do is if they'll start a brawl, or somebody will call in because the man's beaten one of his wives and saying, hey, you know, you're going to go by my laws. And so somebody calls in and the police show up. And when the police show up, they say, you can't be here and do this. And then they file lawsuits against the city or the county or the state, wherever those law enforcement people came from. And then they have them tied up in court. And so that they're not tied up in court, then the cities settle and give them a bunch of money, and then they turn around and do it again on the next corner. And this is what they do, is they get tons of money, they extort it by filing lawsuits, and it's called lawsuit jihad, and that's what they're excellent at. And if we were to check all of the lawsuits that have been filed and settled across this country in the last 10 years, it would probably just be absolutely shocking how much money they had extorted from cities and counties in this way.
I have got to take a quick break for the weather, and then we're going to come back, and I want to talk to Rita about sanctuary cities and a blatantly, absolutely traitor to America, Massachusetts Representative Michelle Dubois. So we're going to talk about that in just a minute. Right now it's time for the weather, sponsored by Phillips, Oaks, Goodwin, Crane, and Company. They've been providing accounting services to the Mini-Cash area for well over 50 years. The very best of tax return preparation, tax planning, business consulting, financial statement preparation, payroll services, retirement planning, and so much more. Locations in Burley and Rupert. Phillips, Oaks, Goodwin, Crane, and Company. Right now, here's the weather.
We are in a wind advisory for today that is going to be lasting at least through early Friday morning. Looks like rain showers all day today, plus winds out of the west, 20 to 30 miles an hour, high of 48. Tonight, those rain showers are going to convert to snow showers, so be careful if you're going to be out there on the roadways tonight. Low of 32. Tomorrow, partly cloudy skies, high of 56. Overnight low of 33 for Friday night. And for Saturday, looks like it's going to be nice, mostly sunny skies, high of 56. That is your weather for Zeb at the Ranch.
Thank you, Gina. Brought to everybody by Phillips, Oaks, Goodwin, Crane, and Company. CPAs with offices at 1710 Overland in Burley and 625th Street in Rupert. The best, the professionals working with and for you, Phillips, Oaks, Goodwin, Crane, and Company. Rita, I alluded to this woman before we had the commercial break with the weather, but I have never seen a more pugnacious, in-your-face, I don't care what the law is, I'm going to break it woman than this so-called Massachusetts State Representative Michelle Dubois, saying she's going to alert all the illegal aliens in her district and do all she can to protect them. She was hired by the people by vote to honor and back up the Constitution and work for the legal citizens. What is with this? Why can't she be thrown out of office like yesterday?
She can if the people in her state will do it. I think they need to Eric Cantorize her. Just call her in. Say, hey, you're not who we want somebody else. A lot of these politicians think that they just have this office for life and they can do anything they want. They don't have to go by the law. They forget that when they were sworn in, they swore that they would uphold the Constitution of the United States of America. Every politician, right down to the city mayor in little small communities, when they're sworn in, that's what they promise that they'll do, is that they will protect the citizens of the United States and uphold the law of the land. And they've reneged on that. They're not doing it, and they need to be taken to task and pulled back. And remember back in it was a couple of years ago, over in Colorado, they pulled in one of the state senators that was trying to get gun laws, stifled. So you can't have guns, you can't do this and that and the other. And boy, there was a group of people. They started out being just some plain old guys that we like guns and we know we have the right to have them. And boy, they started a recall and they had signatures and the whole bit within just a matter of a few weeks. And that senator was out the door.
Yeah. Rita.
And people, if they'll take things into their own hands and start doing this by going through the legal process,
yes,
they can make a difference. But too many people just sit back and say, oh, yeah, that's too bad, and that's the end of it.
But, Rita, didn't it kind of chill you a little bit when we heard about that mayoral conference yesterday, where over 150 cities are calling themselves sanctuary cities in America. 150 anti-American cities with 150 despicable traitor mayors. Doesn't that scare you a little bit?
Well, it should, and it should scare the residents in those communities enough to calling in some of their mayors, because they're not upholding the Constitution either. There was an article that I read that said that in Seattle, the mayor announced that he was going to sue the Trump administration because they stand to lose $85 million if that's implemented, and they shouldn't have to lose their money. And it's kind of like, so it was okay for the Obama administration to sue the state of Arizona when Governor Jan Brewer and the state legislators decided that if the feds were not going to enforce the immigration law, they would bring up the same law and get it passed in their state and enforce it that way. And the Obama administration says, oh, baloney, and they started them litigating in court and have them tied up, and they're probably still tied up in court over that.
Absolutely.
But if these states, they can do what they want to do, but it needs to go through the state, and the federal government needs to enforce the laws. And if the federal government is in charge of enforcing the immigration laws, of which that is actually one of their duties, keeping our borders safe, keeping our country safe by watching the borders and keeping those out who are here to harm us, that's what they're supposed to be doing.
Absolutely. By the way, I only have about 1.5 minutes left, but I have to have you respond this morning because I'm sure that in your heart of hearts that you feel so warm and fuzzy that Hillary has come out of the woods and is now trying to make her life again in politics.
Well, that'll be really good. She needs to put on a different face. Oh, wait a minute. They just paint a different face on her every time. That's fine. But what she needs to do is she needs to just bow out and say, you know what? I was in politics for 35 years. That's good enough for me. I'll just sit back and see if I can't extort money from people to keep my foundation going.
This woman is so repulsive to me. When she came out and she said, we've got to exist and we've got to resist. And she's like leading a charge like a dictator to get all the good people locked up and have all the people that are conservatives trying to pushed out into the ocean. Hillary, I agree with you. Just sit down, rock the granddaughter, and be quiet. That's my attitude.
Yeah, she lost, and it's over with, and she needs to sit back and just kind of, if she wants to help or promote or campaign for other people, then, more power to her if that's what they really want. I think that her brand is pretty soiled, and I doubt there are very many people who would want that. But they need to just have her just say, stay out of the limelight. We don't want you to worry about us.
All right.
Do your own thing.
I've only got 30 seconds, caller. If you're longer than 15 seconds on your remark, I've got to cut you off. Good morning. You're on the air. Quickly.
Okay. Good morning, Zev. How are you doing this morning?
Good. Thank you.
And I want to remind people of a congressman that was in Congress for only 2 years because he was there to drain the swamp just like the president wants to do. And his name is George Hansen. And I'll tell you what, he was drummed out of there so quickly by Republicans and Democrats alike.
I got to run. Okay, Keith, thank you very much. I'll have Rita respond. Rita, 15-second response. I'm running late. Thank you.
No, he's absolutely right. Unless the people take it into their own hands and start guarding against some of these people who are whistleblowers or freedom seekers, we're not going to have any freedom and we're not going to have any justice.
I appreciate your being on the program every week on Thursday. Rita Ramsey, God bless you. Thank you so much. We'll see you next week.
Okay, thanks.
Thank
Bye.
you. If you are hungry and starving to death, I know some great places to go, and I got to hurry and get through this before the news. How about the AC Drive-In at 601 East Main in Burley? Oh, my goodness, people are lining up to get in there and have one of their delicious mint chip shakes. I was choking there for a minute, DM, because it sounds so good. Or a mint Oreo shake with a chicken fried steak sandwich, or maybe a famous Farmer Brown burger with fries and the sauce. Oh, it's delicious at the AC Drive-In, 601 East Main in Burley. Well, how about we move over to Taco Bandito, 2301 Overland in Burley. You gotta try the new pork burrito, beans, rice, sour cream, pork, cheese, everything. Oh, it's great. Or try one of those Taco Banditos with bacon and jalapeno. Oh, you're gonna love the food at Taco Bandito, 2301 Overland in Burley. Two 2 locations of Burgers, etc. 124 South Oneida in Rupert and 700 Overland in Burley. Corn dogs and burritos only 99 cents after 3 o'clock. Oh my goodness, and I'm hungry after 3 o'clock. And delicious burgers. And don't forget, too, every Sunday at the Burley store, shrimp dinners. You're going to love the food and the people at Burgers, etc. in Rupert and Burley. Well, how about Steve-O's, 290 South, 600 west of Hayburn? Oh, they got a new salad. Chicken breast salad with bacon and all the goodies. Oh, it's delicious. And buffalo burgers and different soups every day. And cupcakes. Got to have a cupcake all the time at Steve-O's, 290 South, 600 west of Hayburn. And last but not least, Doc's Pizza, 514 6th Street in Rupert. Did you know that you can get in there and take home and bake your own Doc's Pizza? That's right. And it's delicious. Any size, any type, any time. And believe me, if you haven't been in there, you better go in and have fun with the rest of the customers. Delicious subs and soups and salads. All of this at Doc's Pizza, 514 6th Street in Rupert. And those are just a few places to go when you're hungry and starving to death. And I am. Got to run to the news. I'll be back in 7 minutes. Have a good day. Oh, my goodness sakes, good morning and welcome to our third hour. And I'm Zeb Bell, Zeb at the Ranch, and we certainly appreciate our major corporate sponsor, and that's your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. All 7 locations serving you. Great big spring tire sale going on right now. Along with our friends, our great advertisers, Western Waste Services, always at your disposal. Call them and get on the route service 734-6969. We're going to have Cache County School Days in a couple of minutes. I want to remind you again quickly that the Southern Idaho Women's Expo is going to be at the Burley Best Western Inn April 13th, starting at 9 o'clock in the morning, sponsored by Mini-Cache Chamber of Commerce, Idaho Central Credit Union, and Idaho Housing and Finance. And get your tickets in advance at the Chamber office. They're $20 in advance, $30 at the door. And vendors, if you'd like to have a booth space there, I still think they have some available. Call 679-4793. Southern Idaho Women's Expo coming up on April 13th at the Burley Best Western Inn. And another reminder, too, about some wonderful, wonderful people serving people. And that's Autumn Haven Assisted Living Center at 924 Christian Way in Rupert. Now, write this number down. Pardon me, 436-3200. That number again, 436-3200. And they really, really care about people. They care about their residents. And they've got a beautiful patio in the backyard, and they hold barbecues in the summertime, and they welcome all the public to come by and see the facility for tours, etc. And they make every effort to make Autumn Haven the best place. Autumn Haven Assisted Living Center, 924 Christian Way in Rupert. That number again, 436-3200. They're small compared to some, but with a bigger heart than most. Okay, let's see what else have we got here. And I want to remind you that at 10:30 this morning, we're going to have a gentleman that's never been on my program before, and I'm looking forward to having him talk a little bit about his books and about his political thoughts on Trump and Obama, Hillary, etc. And that's Dr. Bob Thiel. So we're going to have him on the air with us at 10:30 this morning. There is a big, big sale going on at Mad River Laser, and if you haven't been over there, you need to get over there and see Nicole and the rest of the folks. What a wonderful business serving you. And their gift shop is on sale, and that sale is going to remain in effect through tomorrow. So you better get over there at 502 East Street in Rupert, right on the square. And the entire gift shop is on sale. And it's a big spring open house at Mad River Laser. And check out all the door prizes and the free engraving and the free embroidery. Oh, my goodness, you're going to love this business. I do. And that's the spring open house sale at Mad River Laser, 502 East Street in Rupert. You stop over and see them today. Time now for Cassia County School Days, and Cassia County School Days is sponsored by two wonderful businesses. First and foremost, Ambulatory Surgery Center at 1344 Highland Avenue, Suite E in Burley, for all of your outpatient surgeries. Yes, I'm telling you, they will and can save you money. So please check it out for your eye surgeries and your colonoscopies and knee surgeries. All of this, please call the number 677-8888. Ambulatory Surgery Center in Burley. And also a Child's World at 1308 Overland in Burley. And they've got the new spring clothes and all kinds of great baby items and gifts. And they still have the store at 50% off. Half the store is 50% off. And they also carry all the Cherokee scrubs and shoes. Check it out today, A Child's World at 1308 Overland in Burley, along with Ambulatory Surgery Center, bringing you school days in Cassia County. And a lovely lady that is the Cassia County School Communications Officer, Debbie Critchfield, on the air with us this morning. Good morning, Debbie. How are you?
I am well. Good morning, Stack.
We are expecting, through the forecast that we've heard, Debbie, possibly 50-mile-an-hour winds, but it's nice outside right now.
Yeah, it's partly sunny in Burley as well, so let's hope that they got it wrong.
You know, I want to compliment you right up front. And you have done, for how many years now have we had this Cassia County School Days? 2 years?
No, we're coming on 4.
You're kidding me.
Isn't it? It's at least 3.
Oh, my goodness sakes.
3, if not 4.
You have done an outstanding job of providing different guests and different subject matter for the Cassia County School Days. And I want to tell you right up front that the segment that we did, help me, wasn't it a week ago on the shooting gun club at Burley High School?
Yes, with Colleen Parkins.
I had more positive response over that segment than any other segment we've had. I had calls, I had emails, I had people stop me on the street. And kudos to Burley High School and this teacher.
Well, that is good to hear. I'll tell you, we're always a little nervous when you combine the word gun in school or gun in student. And, of course, in our area, folks are more receptive to those types of conversations. But like you said, the response has been great. I know that she addressed this, but they'd like to be able to expand it and get it into other schools. And so we're anxious to see how it all develops this first time.
Okay, now, for this week, I understand that parent-teacher conferences are this week. Are they going on now, or do they start tonight or tomorrow?
Yep, today and tomorrow, and times vary with individual schools, but I thought it might be worthwhile to spend a few minutes just kind of giving some tips to parents so that the conference isn't so one-sided.
Okay.
It really needs to be a conversation, a dialogue between the student and the parent. The teacher and the parent.
Well, you just go right ahead and explain how you think it should be working.
Well, for one thing, I would advise parents to come with some questions. Typically, or historically, a parent will go in, they'll sit across the desk from a teacher who has materials and data and test scores and projects and so forth. And the teacher will do the explaining and the talking, which is definitely appropriate. And then a parent will, maybe have very limited responses. And so what I would encourage the parents to do is talk to your child about their experience in the classroom before you go in. And if you have specific questions or if your child has a specific need or concern, make that a part of the conversation so that it is a dialogue. It's something that both parties can learn from. A teacher needs to also hear what's going on with that student from the parent's perspective. And maybe a child is more comfortable discussing a situation with a mom or a dad who then can go in and in that setting provide some extra information to help the teacher be successful.
Debbie, what you're saying is absolutely the truth. And I'm looking back at some of the parent-teachers conferences that I was a part of for my children. And also I remember my mom and dad being a part of parent-teacher conferences. I will say this, and I mean this out of the utmost respect for the situation, but I think you're going to agree with me. There has to be a give and take with the questions and the answers, but then also it's your child. And I think sometimes, especially maybe if they're visiting with guidance counselors or someone at the high school, they need to challenge that guidance counselor, I think, to make sure that that guidance counselor really understands their child and their child's wants. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. We go to our teachers as the expert in education, and teachers need to look to the parents as the expert on their child. And when you bring both of those worlds together and have a conversation about how to make them successful, and that's the shared goal with both parties. And if you kind of look at it as a negotiation of sorts, where the teacher has an interest and the parent has an interest, and of course the child does, and when we bring that together, you're really going to see some great student achievement and some great outcomes. I would also put in a plug for parents who maybe don't feel that that is an important thing to attend because maybe their child gets all A's or has never been to the principal's office. I know sometimes parents will view a parent-teacher conference, well, I got to go in because maybe my child's been in trouble or we've had some poor grades. Parents of achieving students who don't have any kind of discipline problems, they need to see that it is an equally important opportunity for them. Is their child being challenged properly? Is the rigor there to help their child be successful beyond maybe other students and where they are?
When you look at these meetings that are going to start tonight and go through tomorrow, and I don't want to bring negativity into this, but I think we should have some realism too. Are they well attended? Do a large percentage of parents show up, or what is the reality here?
Well, I need to qualify my no. Our elementary setting, our parents are great. We get over 90% of our parents in the elementary setting.
Wow.
And then something happens about that junior high level where there's a little less interest at that age group, and then by the time you get to high school, it's even less of an interest. And I know it's harder for our junior high school parents because you're going to more than one teacher. It's easier in the elementary setting. You go to one teacher, you get the whole thing in a 15-minute block, and out you go. However, that junior high to high school age, that's such a critical part of development for a student, especially high school, what they're going to do, how they're interacting with peers, what the teacher observes in the class. That is a really, it needs to be something that our parents make time for.
Yep, okay, and again, I don't mean to beat this dog under the porch, but how do you get them, the parents, inspired to really take an interest in little Johnny or Susie's education, especially when they're in high school, especially when they're looking at junior and senior years and then a departure into the real world, whether it's college or the workforce? What do you do to light a fire under these parents?
I wish I knew. We have, our community, I will say, is interested in what's going on in the classroom, and that is always an advantage. Some of our high schools will attach some type of extra credit, so have you, hey, if we can get this percentage of parents to come to the class, then, you get an extra long lunch, or, in some of our junior high settings, maybe the teacher will do a pizza party or something like that to put pressure. So the child puts the pressure on the parent to come. But we're just generally hoping that parents will take some time and have that conversation, not have it be one-sided. A parent should not sit there and have a teacher do all the talking. The parent needs to come prepared and have that conversation with your child. What's working, what's not. And have the teacher be responsible for what's going on in the classroom. And when you're in that setting, the results can be very positive.
I don't know if you heard this program I did yesterday in the last hour regarding the good millennials. And a week ago, Debbie, I had a young man that is a mouthpiece for all the bad millennials in San Diego, California. He's advocating that my generation absolutely lied, cheated, and stole from their generation because that's why they're standing on street corners and they don't have jobs and they're burning and all this other kind of garbage. But then yesterday, I had 3 millennials that we can be so proud of in this area. I had Jason Lee from Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More. I had Thomas Peterson from Denny's in Twin Falls and Burley. And I had Tanner Stanger from right here in the Murtaugh area. And those 3 showed me, beyond a shadow of a doubt, and my listening audience, that not only are they excellent young men that went to work and wanted to be somebody and do something with the talent that God gave them, but they were also raised by parents that created a great work ethic. And boy, was I proud to have them on the show.
Well, I think, like you say, it's a partnership between the school and the parents, and to get that success. Gosh, when my kids knew that I was going to go to parent-teacher conferences, which I know sometimes I drove some of my teachers nuts because I asked them a lot of questions about what was going on. But my kids knew that was going to happen, and so I felt like that raised an expectation or a standard in our home that they needed to be more responsible in their class because they knew that their mother was going to, be asking them questions and asking the teacher questions. And so if you think of it kind of as a 3-legged stool, the student has a responsibility for themselves. We can't take that away. But a parent has that responsibility to support and encourage. And then you add the expertise and the education of a professional teacher in a classroom setting, and you really have got a recipe for some good outcomes.
And I don't know why the parents aren't being involved in the junior high and the high school levels because, man, that is one step out the door. It's one step closer to the real world. Johnny and Susie are going to be out there, and Mommy and Daddy aren't going to shelter them. They're going to have to figure out how they're going to buy their own cheeseburgers, how they're going to buy their own shoes, how they're going to pay for their own bills, and that's one step away. I would think that's so critical for parents to be there.
It is, and as I said before, this setting is different. It's not just one teacher, excuse me, and it's a little more time-consuming, and the child is a little bit older, and so I guess I don't know if it just sort of lends itself to not that a parent doesn't feel quite as protective about their child in that setting. But as you said, that period of development, parental support is critical.
I just thank you again for all you do. I wished we had more time. Holy buckets, that went fast this morning. Debbie Critchfield, the Cassia County School Communication Officer, and she does such a wonderful job. God bless you, and have a wonderful week, and I'll be really interested as to what you're going to have in store for me next week.
Well, if you've got suggestions, send them my way. I'm happy to send people that will cover topics that you think you and your listeners are interested in.
Well, you do
lots to talk about.
You do a great job. Debbie, God bless. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All righty. I love that lady. She does a wonderful job, and she's so polite. And Deanna and I comment many, many times that she's always thinking and always taking care of things. We really appreciate her. I got to pay some bills. Let's not forget Redder's Showcase. My goodness, 2611 Overland Avenue in Burley. You know what's going on right now? The annual March Madness sale. Woo-hoo! My goodness sakes. They're great big sale. All appliances, furniture, and Serta mattresses are on sale. 12 months, same as cash. Can't beat that deal. And don't forget this Saturday, April 1st, April Fool's Day. Be ready for the annual shootout. $5,000 worth of prizes right there at Redder's Showcase. You better get in and sign up today. 2611 Overland Avenue in Burley, Redder's Showcase. Hello, Guy. How you doing? And also, our big thanks go out to some really nice people. Whenever we've got something special going on, they're always right there to get on the radio with us. And that's Golden Valley Warehouse, 1000 South, 468 West of Burley. Hello, Scott and the crew. How you doing? And they like to thank all the fantastic farmers that have worked with them over the years, and they remind all the farmers that Golden Valley Warehouse is known for their top quality seed. Yep, locally owned and operated quality seed at competitive prices. You be sure and give them a call. 2 numbers, 678-7324 or 678-7325. Golden Valley Warehouse, serving you. Quickly, let's go to the phone line. My goodness sakes, we're over at Barry Equipment and Rental. Hello, Juan. How are you?
Pretty good. How about yourself?
Well, the wind is going to start blowing before too long, so you better batten down the hatches. What's going on over at Barry Equipment and Rental at 159 West Highway 30 in Burley?
Well, even though that the wind is blowing, that big yellow heater in the sky is working, and everyone wants to mow lawn. So right now we have our shop cranking out all types of services, getting you ready for the spring.
Oh, like what? Name some in specifics.
Well, right now we have a special going on with our services on all small walk-behind mowers, starting at $49.99.
Okay. And what about, now I heard that you're offering 0% interest for 48 months on those big dudes, the walker mowers, is that right?
Yep, absolutely. We have anything from a small homeowner's model, our S14, all the way to the big boy, I like to call it the Model H, and everything is 0% financing.
Now, Juan, tell me the truth. Have you ever got on that walker mower and just kind of brought your goggles down over your eyes and said, I'm going to mow anything that's within eyesight and just put it on fourth gear and away you go?
Yep, and when it's all shiny outside, I just go ahead and rip. I actually own one, and I actually have what's called the high dump, and that actually lifts it up a little bit over 5 feet. And so when I'm done mowing and all the grass is in my catcher, I just back up to my corrals and dump the grass in it, and I don't even have to leave my seat.
You're kidding. I didn't know that. Well, what are some of the other attributes of the walker mowers that would make people want to have one for their place?
Oh, many, many factors. It's agile. It's a well-balanced machine, and every other mower, your deck is sitting right under you. Well, the walker has that out front advantage, so everything is in front of you, and the deck's a little bit wider, so you can get really close to your house and get rid of your trimmer because the walker will take care of it.
Would that kind of a walker mower, be dangerous for me because I have a tendency to hit things?
Oh, no. It's a pretty sturdy machine, and they'll hold up. They actually hold their value really, really well, and they'll be put up against anything.
Okay, now what about the Bobcat excavators? I understand you got Bobcats galore over there.
Oh, yep. We got them all set up with all sorts of different type of attachments, ready to get you back to work.
Well, now, what does it take to learn how to run one of those things? I'll tell everybody that I talked to Juan the other day, and I'm going to be coming down to get one for cleaning up a bunch of stuff here at my ranch. What about it? Does it take an old guy like me like 3-4 weeks of a training school?
No, it takes you about 3 or 4 minutes. Everything, we can switch those Bobcat skitzers up to be ran with 2 feet or 2 arms and 2 hands, and that's all you need.
Okay. But you do have that big old sandbox out behind to where I could practice, right?
Oh, yep. We'll set you up with the forks, buckets, post hole digger, whatever you want to try out, we'll send you down there and help you out.
Okay, Juan, listen, if they want to rent, you've got special packages on that, or if they want to buy. Explain those real quick, would you please?
Yeah, if you want to rent, we have these big tilt deck trailers, and if you want to take more than one attachment, we'll set you up with whatever you need. You just bring your pickup, and then also we do all have our cell units available, and right now we have all sorts of terms that we can set you up with on purchasing Bobcat skizzers.
Okay, now why don't you quickly tell us the locations of all the Barry Equipment and Rentals in this area and the hours that you're open?
The Twin Falls location is off 465 Addison. In Twin Falls, that's over there by the old hospital. And we have the Jerome location off of Lincoln Avenue. They are open 7:30 to 5:30, Monday through Friday, 8 to 5 on Saturdays. And then we got 159 West Highway 30 here in Burley, open 7:30 to 5:30, Monday through Friday, 8 to 3 on Saturday.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's really, really the truth. Barry Equipment and Rental, 3 locations, Jerome, Twin Falls, and Burley. They have all the equipment to get the job done right. Juan, get back to work. You've had all the vacation time you can afford right now talking to me. Get back to work and rent something, okay?
Will do.
All right, buddy. Thanks much for coming on the program.
Yeah, thanks, Rap.
All right. Thanks, Juan. Good folks right there. Holy smokes. Let's see what else have I got to tell you about real quick. Oh, Ramsey Heating and Electric offering rebates on qualified Lennox home comfort systems. Don't forget, whether it's a gas furnace, air conditioner, or a heat pump, you and your family will enjoy the comfort. Call 678-0459 and learn how Ramsey Heating and Electric and Lennox can save you money. We're going to send it back over to Wheels at our main studio for about 3-4 minutes, and we'll be back with our guest, Dr. Bob Thiel, coming up next half hour. Don't go away.
And now, back to Zeb at the Ranch on AM 1230 KBAR. To reach Zeb, call 436-2244 or toll free 1-866-927-4587. And now, here is Zeb Bell.
And welcome back to our last half hour this morning for this March 30th. I had not ever visited with this gentleman before. I'd heard his name and I'd heard about his books, and over the course of the last month or so, finally we made connections and got him scheduled for this program. Had a nice visit with him the other day, and I'm going to let him come on the microphone and tell us all about him and a little background. Dr. Bob Thiel, good morning, sir. How are you?
Very fine. Thank you so much for having me on, Zeb.
Well, where are you calling in from? You're down in California right now, aren't you, Bob?
Yes, I am. I'm in Grover Beach, California.
Beautiful part of the country down there. And we're up here in southern Idaho, but really not that far apart. I love coming down to the state of California. You have written some outstanding books about Barack Obama and also about Hillary Clinton, and now a new book about Donald Trump called Donald Trump and America's Apocalypse. Woo! That sounds a little ominous. Why the title, and where are we, according to you and your books, with politics in America today?
Okay, well, let's see. As far as the title, this is kind of interesting. I actually got the title indirectly from a Catholic cardinal or bishop back in 2008. Barack Obama had just won to become president of the United States, and this bishop or cardinal said that Barack Obama was apocalyptic, and he defined what he meant by that. He said, I mean he's doing things regarding the book of Revelation, the apocalypse. He's going to do things that will lead to the end of the world or something along those lines. So he gave his definition of apocalyptic. And now by saying Donald Trump's apocalyptic, I'm not making a judgment call. We can discuss Donald Trump's pros and cons and all that kind of stuff. But what I mean by that is that directly or indirectly, he is going to and already has taken steps that ultimately will lead to what people would call the Great Tribulation or the apocalypse. Now, lest I sound like I'm a doom and gloomer, I want to start off at the outset to say I do not believe, based on my knowledge of biblical prophecy, etc., that it is possible that the United States will be gone or the Great Tribulation will start in the first term of Donald Trump's administration. So I'm not trying to tell everybody, oh, you need to buy my book because the world's going to end next week or next year. That's just not the case. But there's a lot of things he's done that people would not realize or haven't realized could have end-time ramifications. And actually, he's already started to fulfill 7 predictions that I've written about already. And so I believe my track record demonstrates that when I write about politicians, etc., that it's actually pretty good. Barack Obama fulfilled at least a dozen or more things that I said he would do. Hillary Clinton's a similar number. And Donald Trump already about a half a dozen or maybe 7 things so far.
You know, Bob, let me interrupt you right there and ask you a question. In regards to the last election, what were your thoughts? And it was kind of a slam dunk, done deal. The American public was told that Hillary would be our next president, and then all of a sudden, the 11th hour approached, and she wasn't even close. Donald Trump won, basically going away. What were your thoughts had Hillary Clinton become president? Where would we be on this apocalyptic type timetable with her versus now with Donald Trump?
It's similar, but for different reasons. And actually, in my book, Donald Trump and America's Apocalypse, I list 20 reasons why Donald Trump is apocalyptic. And the first one that's listed, and this would be applicable to Hillary Clinton, is basically her timing. Many people don't realize this, but early Christians believed that God gave human beings about 6,000 years to rule themselves after Adam and Eve were put out of the Garden of Eden. Afterwards, Jesus would come and set up a millennial kingdom on this earth. And you say, okay, so some people used to believe that. Well, people like myself still do.
Mm-hmm.
And we're getting close to the end of that time frame. We don't know precisely when it is. It's probably sometime next decade. It could be the decade after, but I suspect it'll probably be next decade. And because of the power and influence the United States has, and where it is and is not in end-time biblical prophecies, that's one of the reasons I would consider him apocalyptic. Now, him versus Hillary Clinton, which is what you're specifically asking.
Right.
On the one hand, certain of his economic policies can help the United States in the short run. In a book I wrote about Hillary Clinton and even about Barack Obama, I commented that if the United States would change its energy policies, it could cut its deficits, it could increase jobs, and things like that. So this is something that Mr. Trump said he was going to do. As a matter of fact, he just upset the Pope as well as the Europeans for some of his executive orders related to energy production.
Right.
So while as a person living in the United States, it's obviously helpful if there's more jobs, we have less deficits, et cetera, et cetera. On the other hand, he's upsetting foreigners, which in the long run is going to be a problem. Now, in Mrs. Clinton's case, she wouldn't have done that. On the other hand, her economic policies, I didn't see any that I thought were helpful to my business.
Yeah, but let me jump in on you there, Bob.
Reasons why I thought that they could be apocalyptic.
Let me jump in on you there, Bob, and ask you this. I'm 69 years old, and I have seen the good, the bad, and the ugly, and I'm not referring to a Clint Eastwood movie. I'm talking about politics. I have seen the rise and fall of our economic standing. I've seen the rise and fall of our security standing. I've seen the rise and fall of what's happening with moral values in this country. And I'm not saying that Donald Trump is by far the shining star that's going to lead us all the way back on the right path, but I do see a man standing there with a dust mop, a broom, and a dustpan trying to clean this mess up. Is it too late?
It's probably too late. I can't say it's too late because you read the story about Nineveh and Jonah. Okay, it was supposed to be gone, and then it didn't. It got delayed a couple hundred years. And there's actually a passage in Daniel that I've told people that says, to pray that perhaps the prosperity will be extended. There are certain things he's doing that, again, are helpful in terms of the U.S. economy. But let's mention another one. Now, both Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton had different views about Europe. Let's talk about Donald Trump's comments about NATO for just a moment and how this all ties in. Okay, first of all, there are 28 nations in NATO. The United States is only one of them.
Right.
Yet, if you add up how much the other 27 spend on their military, together, it's less than half of what the United States spends.
That's true.
Those 27 countries have a combined gross domestic or national product greater than the United States. And Donald Trump has gone out and said, hey, this is wrong. These people have contractual agreements with NATO. They're supposed to spend so much on the military. We shouldn't have to defend them if they're not going to do their share. And as a former member of the military, I can appreciate the United States not wanting to send troops to countries who will not keep up with their side of the bargain.
Mm-hmm.
So all this seems reasonable. As a matter of fact, it is so reasonable that yesterday, the day before, the European head of the NATO said that Donald Trump's comments are finally getting the Europeans to do what he's wanted them to do, which is increase their military spending. And you say, well, what's wrong with all of that? Well, if you consider World War I and World War II came from powers in Europe, and now I look at biblical prophecy. If you look at biblical prophecies in Revelation 13, it talks about a power that looks like it's dead that's going to rise up again.
Right.
And there's an expression, don't look a gift horse in the mouth, and beggars can't be choosers. You said, what's that got to do with any of this? Well, the United States has been providing the defense for Europe for decades. As long as we're paying for pretty much all of it, they don't really care. But when they start to pay more themselves, they're going to have a change in attitude. But again, I don't believe this means that we're facing some attack in the next 2 or 3 years. I don't think that at all. But things that he's said, which again, contractually and legally make sense, will end up resulting in some things that we're not going to like.
Yeah, but Bob...
Hillary Clinton had her own issues.
Yeah.
And by the way, she wants to run again in 2020 against them. I will see if the Democrats will allow her to do that or not.
Well, the thing that worries me, though, is this. We have seen presidencies and we've seen administrations that have been absolutely milquetoast weak. They absolutely had no backbone or spine. And the world lost their respect for us. And I think it's about high time that we had some leadership in this country that would restore the net respect to the United States of America for what they've done and they continue to keep on doing for the rest of the world. Or do we just shrink back like a violet in a window and not say anything?
I understand that the United States has somewhat lost the pride of its power, and we had a president for the last 8 years who was apologizing for all kinds of things, which to me didn't make sense. Okay, I can appreciate and understand that. Again, I'm not going on air saying, okay, Donald Trump is worse than Hillary Clinton, Donald Trump is worse than Barack Obama, or anything like that. I see both strengths and weaknesses in Donald Trump and in his message. But when I look at the various prophecies and things that he's said, I'm connecting the dots. And
right.
The dots that I'm connecting are telling me that it's not going to happen quite yet, but certain things that he is doing will help lead to the end. And the end is going to come. Now, we can argue about when that's going to be. I personally tend toward sometime next decade. And perhaps I'm wrong. I'm not saying here that I know the day and the hour for sure. But I can say, looking at various scriptures, looking at what's going on in world conditions, and statements that Donald Trump has said, as well as European and other reaction to what Donald Trump has said, I see that these are lining up with various prophetic events for the future.
Let me ask you this question, Bob, in regards to our Congress, our Senate, and our House. They are, and I'm going to say this in general, most of them absolutely need to be replaced. Most of them need to be turned out to pasture. I am absolutely advocating term limits. They're not doing their job. They're not representing their people, their home constituents, and they certainly have lost sight of the fact that they work for us, we don't work for them. You ought to write a book about Congress because right now they've got the lowest approval rating of anything.
Well, the problem with Congress is there's 535 people in Congress, and it's difficult to say what Congress thinks or what Congress says. You can quote this congressperson, but another congressperson will go back and contradict them.
True.
But getting back to a point you're alluding to, like you, I was brought up more or less as a constitutionalist, believing that the U.S. government had limits put on purpose by the founding fathers of the United States, that these limits were intended to not have the U.S. government, as well as state and federal, local governments, encroaching on every aspect of our life that they possibly can, to go into confiscatory taxes, unreasonable regulations, et cetera, et cetera. I've heard it said that the average American commits 1 or 2 felonies every day or something. Somebody claimed this because there's so many rules or regulations we can't possibly know what they all are.
Right, right.
And when you and I chatted a couple of days ago, you made a comment, so I'll bring this up, which I'm sure you will have a problem with, that there people aren't following the Constitution, and the people in Congress don't believe that they need to adhere to it.
That's right.
And this gets back. I don't want to get excessively theological here, but I do want to bring some theology in here. When people had respect for the Bible, maybe they didn't always believe it, but they at least had more respect for it than we see now.
Right.
They also then decided to have some more respect for the Constitution. And as we've seen less respect for the Bible. We've also seen less respect for the Constitution. And you've got most people in Congress who do not believe the Bible is the inspired Word of God, and most people in Congress do not believe that there's anything particularly special about the Constitution. As far as I can tell, many of the people in Congress, and both on the Republican and Democratic side, think that the Constitution is something that gets in their way when they want to expand government influence or government power.
I agree with that.
So yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I totally agree with your last comment. What you said, it gets in the way. And I'm almost out of time for this segment. I'm going to invite you back, but I want to have you answer this quickly. We are seeing right now, after yesterday's mayoral conference, where 150 cities have acknowledged the fact that they are, quote-unquote, sanctuary cities. I find that to be despicable. I find it to be traitorous against the United States of America and our Constitution, and I think every one of those mayors should be thrown into the Grand Canyon. What are your thoughts about disavowing the law and allowing sanctuary cities in this country?
It is totally illogical. And the Bible says basically because they don't want to retain God in their knowledge, God turned them over to thoughts that are illogical and inconvenient. I mean, how can people argue that illegal people who are breaking the law should not, they're in here illegal and they're breaking your law and they shouldn't be turned over to the border people? I don't understand if this is supposed to be a nation of laws. Now, I'm in California, and this state here wants to actually pass some state law that they don't have to cooperate with this kind of stuff. I heard Governor Brown on the air basically saying California is open to anybody who I guess can get in here one way or the other. And if he really meant that, this would be at least a Central American or a Latin American country. It is bizarre. It makes no constitutional sense, and I don't know of other nations in the world that just open their borders to anybody and say you can stay in here and it's okay if you break the laws. We won't turn you over. I consider this because they won't retain God in their knowledge that they're doing things that are not right.
I agree with you. Bob, we've got a caller real quick. I've only got a minute and a half left in this segment. Caller with a question. Caller, go ahead quickly for Bob Thiel, please.
Yeah, he's very interesting to listen to. I've talked with a couple of guys, and one back in the late 60s, early 70s, he used to say, the end time was going to come at least by 1997. And another one thought that it would happen, at least by 2005, if not before then. And so, none of us know, like you said, but I guess man's time, I look at it this way, isn't God's time.
Absolutely.
And we don't know his clock exactly.
Absolutely.
Or it'd already probably come and gone.
Absolutely.
Anyway, I just, so his reasoning for the next decade or the next one after that, it's interesting.
I appreciate your call, and I'm going to have Bob respond, but I'll just say the Bible verse, no man knoweth the hour that Christ returns. And Bob, take it and wrap it up. I got 30 seconds left.
The Congressional Budget Office came out today and talked about a massive explosion intended for the United States debt. The book of Habakkuk, chapter 2, verses 6 through 8, talks about the end of the highly indebted nation. The debt clock is ticking, and the 6,000 years is ticking. As I said, I've not claimed to know the exact day and hour. I mean, I calculated everybody who begot everybody and all that kind of stuff in the Old Testament, New Testament to try to put some stuff together. But combining that with what's going on, it points to sometime next decade. And we will see. There's some other world events, though, that will happen first. And when those happen, I think we'll have a better idea.
Dr. Bob Thiel, you got to promise me, and I'm going to put you on the spot right here on my program, you'll come back in the very near future and we'll have another segment on this information on your books, The Latest Donald Trump and America's Apocalypse. Bob Thiel, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me on. Love to be on again.
All right, sir. Thank you. God bless. Very nice man right there from California, and interesting books and material, and I'm going to have him back in the future. Holy cow, I better get going or I won't be back. Scarrows Meats, 331 North Road, Jerome, 324-7657, and they are changing the way we eat one delicious bite at a time. Oh, delicious meats! I'm telling you, like their breakfast sausages and their bratwurst and their buckboard bacon. Oh, delicious! Here now is the weather, brought to you by Scarrows Meats.
We are in a wind advisory for today that is going to be lasting at least through early Friday morning. Looks like rain showers all day today, plus winds out of the west, 20 to 30 miles an hour, high of 48. Tonight, those rain showers are going to convert to snow showers, so be careful if you're going to be out there on the roadways tonight. Low of 32. Tomorrow, partly cloudy skies, high of 56. Overnight low of 33 for Friday night. And for Saturday, looks like it's going to be nice, mostly sunny skies, high of 56. That is your weather for Zeb at the Ranch.
Thank you, Gina, and brought to you by Don Scarrow and the crew. Really, really good people over at Scarrows Meats, 331 North Road, Jerome, and go to their website. Find out all about their delicious meats at scarrowsmeats.com. Yep, they are changing the way we eat one delicious bite at a time. We've had a fun week, a very good week, and I sincerely appreciate all the calls, all the comments, everything on the program, and along with all of our great guests. And we're going to start the next month of April next Monday, and we've got some real hard hitters coming on the program. We're going to have the Pacific Legal Foundation, Tony Francois, on the air Monday. Vicky's Country Garden is coming back on the program next Monday, and we're going to have Matt Walsh on the program with us next Monday. Boy, we got some hard hitters that you've seen on television, all the news shows, so don't miss a minute of it. Okay, Zeb at the Ranch. By the way, too, our thanks go out to our advertisers, all of our sponsors, including our main corporate sponsor, and that's, of course, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Center's Spring Tire Sale. Right now, all their tires, man, they've got some great, great tires on sale for your spring and summer driving. And check them out today, the great buys for your cars, your pickups, your SUVs, horse trailers, boat trailers, whatever. And then, too, while you're there, if you need brake service, oh boy, you better take care of your brakes. Front end alignment, shocks and struts, all of this, batteries, they've got the best in batteries. But above all, I keep saying this, the best in service. They come out to see how they can serve you at a high lope, and they're so friendly and service-oriented. Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family in Paul, Daniel on Pole Line in Twin Falls, and Randy on Overland in Burley. The best. Your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Been a good week, and I hope that you have a wonderful weekend. Now, in observance of that weather forecast that Gina gave me a few minutes ago, high winds and maybe a lot of rain, and my son called my wife about maybe 30 minutes ago and said it was raining and mixed with snow up in Boise, and I'm looking out the window going, it looks pretty doggone nice outside. Well, evidently it's going to be changing. And we urge you to be careful and have yourself a wonderful weekend. We'll be back here Monday at 8:06 on KBAR 1230 AM, and then streaming live on the internet all over the world, ZebBell.com. God's blessings to you and your family, and always remember, the way things were are the way things ought to be. You have a great weekend. Wheels, be careful out there. We'll see you Monday.